My name is Stephanie. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Here, we celebrate Christmas year-round. Here, we share Christmas tours, Christmas lights, anything Christmas and winter related. I'm excited to have fellow Christmas and winter lovers here, and welcome to the Christmas Fair. Come here. Stop it. Stop. Okay. Too much. Too much. Rock, rock, rock. Okay. So the chaos that you just saw, that's how it is getting ready to go for a walk with the dogs. It can be a very hectic time to get them ready. So hope you enjoyed that little howling song from the Huskies. So I can't walk all the dogs together because they are just too much when we try to walk. It's 4 dogs and 2 of the Huskies, they pull terribly. So I usually will walk the girls together, Nova and Ruby. Nova is our older Husky and Ruby is about 6 years old. She's our older Shepherd mix. So I tend to walk the girls together. They tend to do pretty well. I do enjoy when our dogs will bark in the backyard and it starts like the twilight bark, like the one from 101 Dalmatians. Usually there's a few dogs in the neighborhood around us, and as soon as they bark, the other one barks. And then the other neighbor's dogs bark. And the one next door to us is a really tiny, like French bulldog. So it just sounds so funny. So as soon as we start walking around the neighborhood, you can hear them all talk to each other.
Hi, boys. Are you ready? How crazy were you? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come on. I gotta get it on you. You okay? You don't have to be afraid. We've done this about 1,000 times. Hey, Daddy's turn. Ozzy.
Ozzy is by far the biggest puller of all the dogs. He's a husky, so it's definitely his jam, but I try to take him on longer walks than the other dogs just to help tire him out. We used to have a dog park pass, we just haven't gone in a long time, mainly because we've been busy, but they do love a good run at the dog park. The vest that you guys see on me, it's a weighted vest. I don't even know the brand, but it's a 12-pound weighted vest. And I don't normally wear it in the wintertime because it's so bulky with the coat, but usually when it's nice out and I can just do like a one layer, I'll put it on. I think I got it last summer. I got it because it's supposed to help tone your body, and it's supposed to be good for women as you get older. It's supposed to help with your bone density, like it's supposed to help build your bone strength. So I try to remember to wear it when I can, but you've seen how the dogs get ready, so I kind of have to remember to do it before I put the leashes on, or you know, we can barely get out of the house. We pass by this tree when we do our dog walks, and it is just so pretty when it's in bloom. It's only in bloom for a couple weeks, but it is just so pretty.
You ready? Hi. Okay. Time to switch again. It's Charlie's turn. Charlie, come. Hi.
Charlie is our high anxiety dog. He is on medication for it also, but he is a dog that has really bad separation anxiety. So try to do as many walks as we can. He loves Kongs, so we always stuff Kongs in the freezer. And some days when he doesn't get to outside for walking, he can get pretty bad behavior-wise, but usually when he gets out for a walk and he does some Kongs and he has some interactive time with the outside world, he usually is a little bit better.
You look so pretty in the flowers.
Worst part about being a dog parent is having to pick up the poop in the backyard. We try to do it on a regular basis. It doesn't always happen. But today's the day. It's not raining, and that's a plus. So we're gonna do it while it's dry, and we're just gonna get it done, even though it's pretty freaking gross. Jesse built this dog house last year in the summertime, and he had a cute little light on there too. So our dogs are not outdoor dogs, but this is just in case they want to cool off or get inside in the wintertime. But he built this with, I can't remember how many pieces, but it turned out pretty well. And then he also put like plastic paneling on the back, so the roof is plastic and the water just beads off of it, which is kind of cool. But it's pretty big inside. We got to replace the hay this summer, but it's quite big. They've all been in there at one time, and then they all run out and they kind of treat it as like a little hideout. And these were part of our Christmas decor last year that he made, and he decided to attach them to the doghouse instead. Hello, dog. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you guys doing? You doing good? Are you playing? Yeah. These toys are supposed to stay inside, and they constantly try to sneak them out. So I'm gonna take them in, throw them in the wash. These ones we actually put in the dishwasher because they're Kongs. We usually will wash when we wash their bowls. And these guys I'm gonna stick in the actual washing machine and then try to let them air dry. But these we like to put peanut butter in, and we'll freeze it. We'll put a little bit of food in there with a little bit of water and freeze it, and it becomes like a frozen little cone for them in the summertime, which is nice. But they are obsessed with these. I know my mom tends to get them for the dogs too, so we've probably got 10 or 12 of these. But they'll come in all shapes and sizes, and they even have black ones too, which are for like pitties, Rottweilers. Hi. The bigger jawed dogs. Hi. I used to wash these by hand before we had a dishwasher. This was years ago, and I could never get them to not be slimy, even after using dish liquid. So anytime I wash the dog bowls, I always run them by themselves in the dishwasher or with the Kongs, and they come out so clean and sparkly. But if you don't have a dishwasher, a lot of people do nowadays, but our first house did not. And I would try to like steam it somehow with hot water and like Dawn dish soap to degrease it. But I love having a dishwasher for this purpose because I try to wash these, and they're so hard to clean sometimes because, you know, dogs have slobbery mouths. But now Ruby wants to go back outside. You wanna go outside? Let's go, let's go. He built this lion, we call it a lion door. It's on a pulley. So we don't have to do the steps each time. Especially in the wintertime, it's nice, and it's attached to this like rope, which is kind of nice. It's not the prettiest, but it is pretty functional.
You ready? Good girl. Good sit. Ozzy, can you sit? Good boy. Sit, Charlie. Good boy. Hi, Nova. Good girl. Alex, how you feeling? Hi, Grace.
So I'll tell you the backstory of each of the dogs because I haven't done that in a while. But I did share a video probably around a year ago of the dog stories, but never a day in the life of the dogs. So we'll start with Ruby. She is a rescue that we got in January of 2020, and she is from One Love Pet Adoptions. They're no longer open. It was part of an animal hospital, but they closed the adoption portion during COVID. So now they've just kind of turned into a full time vet's office. But she's from Puerto Rico. Her siblings were also brought up with her. She and her siblings were dropped off at a recycling plant in Puerto Rico. So she was flown up here in the Northeast. Dogs tend to get adopted a lot more than they do in the southern states and in Puerto Rico. So that's her backstory. But she has a couple siblings that are still in Rochester. But yeah, we've had her since January of 2020. Moving on to Charlie. We got Charlie in the summer/fall of 2021, and he was from a rescue. I think he was from Forever Friends Rescue, and they are local to the Rochester area. And he came up with a bunch of other dogs that were in his litter. He was found with his siblings under a dumpster in Texas. So, not the best beginning. Same with Ruby. They really literally came off of the street. With that, he has had some quirks over the years. I mentioned before that he's got some separation anxiety. He also has some resource guarding that we try to work on with him. We don't think it'll ever be truly fixed, but it's something that we can manage and we can help him, work on a little bit every day to help him live as happily as possible. But yeah, he is our challenging dog, but he's still a good dog. On to Nova. Nova probably has one of the sadder stories when it comes to our rescues. She was the third dog that we got. We were not intending on getting a dog when we went to California, but we were probably 4 days out, I would say 3 to 4 days out from moving back from Modesto, California to Rochester, New York. And I was walking Ruby and Charlie one day. We had only had the two dogs at the time. And in the apartment complex that we lived in, I saw the manager with Nova. And I thought, oh, that's a cute dog. Didn't think much of it and just kind of kept walking. And then I saw she kind of like trotted and distanced herself from the manager. I thought maybe it was her dog. It wasn't. I guess they were trying to catch her. So she was a stray that wandered into the apartment complex that we were at. And I said, you know what, let me put my dogs away. I'll come help you. I've got some wet food. So I got like a packet of wet food, put it in a bowl, and we had to basically try to coax her to come over to trust us. And her immediate reaction was to run away as soon as we got up to her. But she was able to, she actually went under the gate and then came back when she realized that we had wet food and we had something for her. So it kind of took us a few minutes to kind of inch closer to her in the parking lot. We were able to get
the leash around her, and we were able to kind of hold on to her. Fast forwarding a couple hours, we tried to contact animal control. We tried to contact probably 10 different rescues in the area in Modesto, and had no luck with anyone saying she was a stray and they were looking for her. We ended up putting her in an empty apartment until we figured out what we were going to do. I called my husband, and he he was like, "Well, why don't we take her?" And I'm like, "We're moving cross country in 4 days. What do you mean we'll take her?" So, long story short, we took her to the vet that day because we couldn't get a hold of any other vets or any other rescues. And the animal control said basically when she comes in, she has 5 days on a timeline and then they'll euthanize. And understanding and talking to more people, especially the apartment manager, she said this is so common. And because it's warmer out there, at least where we were, sometimes people lose their dogs and sometimes they don't go looking for them. And sometimes people will dump dogs because it's warmer and they know they'll survive better than in the Northeast. Broke my heart, but she is one of the sweetest dogs. And you might notice in the video, sometimes she's a little bit timid. That's something that we think is from her past. We don't know if she was maybe an outdoor dog. She just has a lot of hesitation with humans. She's very trusting now of us. She's been with us for a couple of years, but new people she's very, very concerned about. So we think she probably had the roughest background. And when we got her, she was probably, I think they said she was about 30 pounds underweight. But now she's at a normal weight. She's actually a couple pounds overweight, but she is spoiled and loved, and she is my husband's favorite dog. And now we're at Ozzy, our little Spitfire. So Ozzy was also not planned, and a friend of ours was getting already had 2 dogs, and her daughter's friend, I guess, purchased Ozzy from a breeder in Pennsylvania, and drove to Pennsylvania, came home with the dog to an apartment, and the landlord said, "You can't have dogs here." So my husband's friend's daughter said, "We'll take the dog until you figure out what you're going to do." So he basically gave up Ozzy to this family friend of ours. And our friend told the daughter, "We can't have 3 dogs." It was their choice. They're like, "We're going to just foster him for now. We're going to try to find somewhere else for him to go." So fast forward, we met Ozzy at the dog. I think we met him at the dog park first in like September of 2024. Yeah, September of 2024. We met him there first, and it wasn't the best interaction because we know Charlie has some quirks, and he's the one that tends to be can be aggressive with other dogs, depending on the dog. But with Ozzy, we met at the dog park. He was kind of okay, and we just wanted to think about it. They didn't really hit it off the best at first. And then we ended up having him meet here because we knew this was Charlie's territory, and they ended up getting along fairly well the second time. So that's his story. He is now adopted by us. He's a purebred, I believe, because he came from a breeder, but we just ended up adopting him from our family friend. Her daughter was, moving and planning on working somewhere that was not in Rochester, so she wasn't able to take the dog. So he kind of just kept getting passed along until someone was able to commit to him. But that's Ozzy's story, and he's just our little Spitfire. They are all spayed and neutered. Our 2 cats, too, you saw our 2 cats earlier in the video, and they are also rescues. They came from Lollipop Farm, which is a really big shelter here in Rochester. And we've had Fox since December of 2016, and then we've had Grace the fall of 2017. I think we got them about a year apart. So that's their story. They're very sweet cats. They just kind of keep to themselves and try to avoid the dogs. But that was kind of a long-winded explanation of the origin story of our dogs. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching. And if you made it this far, leave me a little paw print emoji in the comments so I know who watched all the way to the end. And yeah, I'll kind of leave with the saying that they have on The Price is Right. Don't forget to spay and neuter your pets if you're a pet owner. But thank you guys so much for watching today. I will see you in the next video. Merry Christmas.